What is your 10 out of 10 movie? Into the Spider-Verse. That movie is so damn good. I went in with meh expectations. I think it was only a few minutes in and I was getting hit with comic book nostalgia feels. I think I could watch it muted, just to look at the art again and again. Shawshank. Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. Spirited Away. Emperor's New Groove. Surprisingly hilarious for a kids movie. And Kronk is the definition of a himbo. Good Will Hunting. Hot Fuzz. Inception for sure. One of Nolan's finest creations. Lot R. The Fellowship of the Ring. LOTR Trilogy. Jurassic Park. Seven Samurai. 12 Angry Men. That movie is timeless as long as our legal system stands as is. Feels like a perfectly acted play, and is grossly engaging to watch characters change their viewpoints essentially in real time on camera. Ops said 10. The Godfather. I got a lot of movies that I find to be almost perfect. But The Godfather, now that's one hell of a perfect movie. Absolutely beautiful movie. That includes the score. Part 2 is just as good. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Two masterpieces. We don't talk about the third one. They made a third one. Awesome. I'm gonna watch that tonight. How could it not live up to the brilliance of the first two? Same director and cast. Right. The Dark Knight. Dark Knight. I'll never forget the experience seeing that opening night. My 10 out of 10 movie is 50-50. It's a film about cancer, and is refreshingly honest, funny and heartwarming at the same time. So, you rate 5050 as 10/10 in 2028. Coincidence? I think not. Predator. Goat one-liners. A bloodthirsty alien killing everyone. Arnie with big guns and muscles. 13 tense movie for me. Watching that movie time and time again will make ya goddamn sectional Tyrannosaurus. Django Unchained. Everything was done correctly in this movie. Back to the Future. The whole trilogy actually. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. The performances. The writing. The characters. The action. The special effects. The visuals. The editing and pacing. The movie fires on all cylinders and nothing takes a back seat. Interstellar. I was much more impressed with it in theater. That's why I'm eventually going to build a theater room. Forrest Gump. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Fight Club. District 9. A very underrated film if you ask me. Fook and Prawns. Asterisk The Big Lebowski asterisk The Lighthouse asterisk Hereditary asterisk Predator. Shoutout A24. My favorite production company the last few years. Amen to that. They consistently put out some of the best movies in multiple genres too. Apocalypse Now, absolute classic. That was my number one until Pulp Fiction bumped it down to second. Doctor Strangelove. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Its music and art style is beautiful, has an interesting take on the post-apocalyptic world scenario, and discusses subjects like war crimes, mass extinction and mankind's right to exist. John Carpenter's The Thing. A damn near perfect movie. While not my absolute favorite movie, I really don't have just one movie that stand above all the others I like. It hits on all cylinders. Goodfellas. Star Wars v. Empire Strikes Back. Inglourious Bastards. Incredibly quotable, and one of Tarantino's best films. Greater than asterisk I think this just might be my masterpiece, asterisk. Chef. It makes me feel good and positive afterwards. We need more such movies. Fargo. Oh yeah. The Truman Show. Shrek. The Room. 2003. Oh hi Mark. It's bullshit I did an AAAAAAAAAAAAAAHT. How is your sex life anyway? Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The fact that they hang through the swishes and swooshes for the fight scenes to make it look more like a comic is just amazing to me. Army of Darkness. You ain't leading nothing but Jack and shit. And Jack just left town. My absolute fav movie quote. God. I love that movie. Casablanca. Amadeus. 10 Things I Hate About You. The Princess Bride. Vertigo. Best movie ever made. I like the story and I like the slow build-up and the music. WOOWWWWW. I have seen like a lot of movies, but Vertigo woo. V for Vendetta. Planes, trains, and automobiles. I rewatch every Thanksgiving morning as I bake an apple pie, and every year I laugh at something I didn't catch before or I notice something new. It never gets old. It's heartwarming. And Steve Martin is a national treasure. The Godfather. I love the dialogue, the characters and the themes. I don't mind if other people don't like it, but to me it's a fantastic film, monsieur. The How to Train Your Dragon movies. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Big Trouble in Little China. No Disagreements, PLS. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Into the Spider-Verse was a fun movie, also won the best time at the theater. No Country for Old Men. Coraline. Absolute masterpiece. The Witch. It's a great horror movie that doesn't fall into jump scares, but maintains a constantly tense atmosphere. It's also a horror movie that draws very heavily from folklore and history. Almost academic in a sense. There are tons of direct references to literature and quotes from witch trials and historical figures sprinkled in that movie. Wolf of Wall Street, yours? Pulp Fiction. Stares back motherfuckerly. Wow, that's another 10 out of 10. Recently read the book Jordan Belfort wrote, which is what the movie was based on. Highly recommend. A Silent Voice. Underrated movie. Coco. Snatch. Heat. Silence of the Lambs. Gattaca. Scarface. Children of Men. 2001, A Space Odyssey. Kingsman. The animated Robin Hood movie by Disney. The Ninth Gate by Roman Polanski. Terminator. Ratatouille. Titanic. Alien. Aliens. The Shining. The Departed. Jaws. Empire Strikes Back. Lost in Translation. I hated that when it came out in the early aughts. I watched it in the theater and thought, WTF. I was in my early 20s and had never been anywhere. Rewatched it several years later after spending extended periods of time in East Asia, and it immediately became one of my favorite movies. For me too. I love it. Got any other recommendations? Sure. I would probably say In the Mood for Love by Wong Kar-wai and Her by Spike Jonze. Those two movies are the first ones that come to mind when I think of similar movies. I have ITMFL in my collection but not watched it yet. I'll bump it up the list. Been meaning to watch Do the Right Thing again for a while. Night Trier instead. Since I've not seen it, I'd recommend The Apartment by Billy Wilder and Under the Skin by Jonathan Glazer, which couldn't be more different in storyline. But in lightness of touch and tactility it's equally as stimulating. About to souffle too, of course. Edit. Just remembered Spike Jonze isn't Spike Lee. I tried her and hated it. Gave up halfway. Romeo plus Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. Excellent new reading in the classical style. Scott Pilgrim. Office Space. I know it by heart and I can watch it and I'll always smile, laugh and cry throughout it. Mike Judge is brilliant. Avengers Endgame. Edge of Tomorrow. Finding Nemo. Garfield. Spider-Man. Homecoming. Avengers. Infinity War. Chronicle. It plays around with the idea of what people would do with unchecked power as well as some themes of friendship. Also, abuse, depression, and what violence can do to an impressionable person's psyche. The Hunt for Red October. John dies at the end. Love the book, too. Don Coscarelli did a great job wrangling such a wild read into something that translated to film well. Sicario. District 9. Alien. Pineapple Express. Pacific Rim. Little Miss Sunshine. Trading Places. Literally every joke lands. The cast is brilliant. It is smart, relevant, and the denouement is absolutely perfect. And Jamie Lee Curtis in her prime, Romer. Glengarry Glen Ross. Hard to top the acting and writing in that movie. Coffee is for closers. This one and 12 Angry Men are some of the best movies with minimal sets. Top-notch dialogue and acting. Agreed. I just rewatched 12 Angry Men. It really holds up. Dark Knight, endlessly rewatchable. The Ritual. I'm madly in love with it. I just love the pacing, theme, set design, reveal, everything. It has taken a while for something to do what Blair Witch did for me years and years ago. I was feeling disenchanted with horror for a while there. Midsommar is something else, too. But have you seen Hereditary? I second Hereditary also. There Will Be Blood, Halloween, 1978, Scream, The Dark Knight. A silent voice. It made me feel emotions, which is a rare luxury. Yeah, this movie is so good. I loved it. I also loved Your Name. It's another anime movie that's well worth watching if you haven't already. I certainly have seen it, and it was fantastic. I consider A Silent Voice a 10 and Your Name 9.9. Watched them both around 3 times and I found Your Name was better on the first watch, but A Silent Voice is more rewatchable. Stranger Than Fiction. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Still waiting for a sequel. Tell me about it. Apollo 13. The re-entry scene never fails to make me tear up. Superbad. Gladiator. Life is Beautiful. Oh brother, where art thou? Go for Everett. You stole from my kin. Do not seek the treasure. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Maher. Watchmen. Django. Unchained. The witty dialogue. The pacing. The borderline slapstick bullet impacts. It's just such a fun movie. Saving Private Ryan. Nice Guys. Horton. Coco. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. One of the few movies I can watch all the way through, then literally start again immediately after. Heat. Was looking for this. Hacksaw Ridge. Overrated. Sorry. Zodiac 2007. Geostorm and Shrek 2. Spider-Man 2. Hot Fuzz has absolutely no flaws. V for Vendetta. Interstellar. Silent Voice and Weathering with You. Indiana Jones. The Last Crusade. Baby Driver. Jurassic Park. Back to the Future. 1917. Those are my favorites at least. Sinister. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What We Do in the Shadows is a masterpiece. Nausicaa of the Valley of Wind. Psycho. I can't find a single flaw in it. The Handmaiden. It's a Korean film, and its story is beautifully told. Aliens. Few movies are great. Even fewer sequels are as good as the original film. Monsieur Aliens is a movie that is so amazingly superior to the original title. It turned it from a modestly successful one-off horror film into a franchise. Now the rest of the movies in that franchise are moist garbage. But Aliens is a masterpiece of action and horror, with just enough comic relief and character development to keep you engaged. It is, in my opinion, James Cameron's best movie by far. Better than Terminator, Terminator 2, Abyss, Titanic, Avatar, you name it. Edit. Also, the 15-minute countdown at the end of the movie is actually 15 minutes. Rango. Jaws. After all these years I still think it's a very good movie. I like how it builds up the suspense with that music you'd recognize anywhere. The fact that you mostly don't see the shark in the first attacks of the movie is scary because you don't know what's underneath the water. Velocipaster. From Frank Mermaid to the amazing costumes. It will forever be on the favorites list, or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The Bloodhound balloon dogs are fantastic. Difficult to choose between them. Monsieur. The Fugitive. Such a one-off movie that no one expected to be good, and somehow it's a purely stunning action piece where suspension of disbelief isn't too hard. I love Indiana Jones. He was my hero as a kid. I was him for Halloween at least 3 times growing up. But I gotta say The Fugitive is Harrison Ford's best movie. Interstellar. Forrest Gump. Matilda. Princess Bride. The best movie I've seen. Also it has that one meme. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Funny AF. The Prince of Egypt. Back to the Future. One of the best movies ever. Anyone who has not seen it, what the frick are you doing? Go watch it. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.